An actual filing of the charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust would depend on the outcome of a required hearing, the Justice Ministry said. That could take months to complete. His voice brimming with indignation as he addressed the nation during primetime TV news, Netanyahu dismissed the 3 criminal cases as a political witch hunt designed to oust him. It's not up to the civil servants. It's not up to the television studios. It's not up to the pundits and journalists. He could face up to 10 years in prison if convicted of bribery and a maximum 3-year term for fraud and breach of trust. Israel's shekel weakened against the dollar on the news. It was trading at per dollar at 16:20 GMT, from before the announcement, and down 0.4% versus the U.S. currency from Wednesday. Opinion polls show a tight race for Netanyahu's Likud party, with sharp gains for a center-left alliance led by Benny Gantz, a former armed forces chief who has pledged clean government. Close call elections at the hearing with Mendelblit. The 69-year-old Netanyahu can cite the public interest in arguing against an indictment. In his statement on Thursday, the Prime Minister touted what he has achieved for the country, noting the strong economy and ties with world powers that he has cultivated over the last decade. This is not to be taken for granted, he said. Netanyahu would be under no legal requirement to resign, even if indicted. But if he were re-elected, it would likely be to lead a coalition, as he does now, and if he were indicted, public pressure could buckle the necessary alliances. Gantz said on Thursday he would not join Netanyahu in any future coalition government given the possible corruption indictment, and called on the Prime Minister to step down. Yohanan Plesner, president of the nonpartisan Israel Democracy Institute, said he did not expect a dramatic shift in public opinion against Netanyahu. However, since the elections are such a close call, even a movement of few percentage points in either direction can make the difference between Netanyahu winning as prime minister, or his main challenger, Mr. Benny Gantz, said Plesner. Netanyahu's supporters generally back his hawkish stance on Iran and the Palestinians, credit him for the strong economy and greatly admire his command of English and international standing. Many of his opponents see him as a divisive leader whose alliance with the far right has harmed democracy and made any prospect of peace with the Palestinians even more remote. U.S. President Donald Trump, asked at a news conference earlier on Thursday about Netanyahu's legal troubles, voiced support for the Israeli leader. Trump and Netanyahu have been in lockstep over policy toward Iran and the Palestinians. Well, I just think he has been a great prime minister, said Trump. The Palestinian leadership did not immediately comment on the news of Netanyahu's pending indictment. Sitting in a cafe in the city of Hebron, in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, 28-year-old Palestinian student Abdallah al-Razam said Netanyahu's legal predicament was in the interest of the Palestinian people. But he added, there is also corruption within our government. I hope such a decision gets implemented here too. Roy Selier, a 47-year-old Israeli who works with people with disabilities, watched the news on television in a Tel Aviv cafe. I think it's a very sad day for us in Israel. I was upset hearing the news, he said. It's not an easy day when the prime minister is accused of these allegations.